All right, folks, we're putting in our Weatherstrip on our 1970 Dodge Dart. And we took the painted pieces that were removed from the car when it went to the rotisserie, and I don't know what they call these, but they're garnish pieces of some sort. They're painted along with the color of the car, and you have your pillar molding here, and then it comes in. It's really an easy fit. So you got to get these pieces in, then you'll start putting your Weatherstrip in. On this car here, and you can see it just, I think once we get the Weatherstripping in there, it holds this up. Not sure, we're still studying this, but anyway, once we get to that point, we'll figure that out if it needs to be tightened. But we started on our door, and on the Weatherstripping, you've got your screws where you start right here. This will go around the perimeter of the door. And this is a product by SoftSeal, I believe. We're almost done with this, but I want to show everybody before I get to the last pieces of that. You read your instructions, and for whatever reason, it does not come with the sealant, but it tells you right here to use the Super Weatherstrip adhesive. So we actually went to O'Reilly's, and we found we found exactly that, black Weatherstrip adhesive. Found it, there's a yellow and there's a black. Obviously, we want to use black on this, but it tells you in between the pins to apply the 3M adhesive. So we've got our hardware here for where you screw it into the door. But now I want to show everybody basically how you put the pins in, and we're finishing up. So this last piece, you have to take your time because there is a lot of holes between here, and you got to get on your back, go under it, one piece at a time. So if you look here, here's your pins. So I'm going to apply the grease like I've been doing. Not grease, but adhesive, excuse me. Just kind of in there. Not crazy. And then you're going to see, I'm going to pull this pin out where it's like a pointer. And then you just kind of stretch it. As you stretch it, it'll go in and it pops in just like that. And then we're going to do our last one right here. We'll get that pointer out. Well, looks like just put this in here like this. I'm just going to put some up here too, just for good measure. And then I'm just going to get it and we'll slide it in there. And I do believe there is another piece. Yes, there is another piece that's going to go here, and it's going to lock this in for the door lock mechanisms. So obviously I'm still missing that piece. We'll get to that. But for the most part, this thing is in. So I'm going to shut the door and let this thing just kind of and I may even get some bungee cords and just put some pressure on it so these things, the sealant can close overnight. So that's it. We're about to do the other side, folks. Do the other side, and then if we have these, we're going to go start putting these in. So we are making progress. All right, well, we got the door strips, the Weatherstripping that goes around the door is on. What we're doing right now is I've got because we don't have the locking mechanisms for the doors, I've got bungee cords just pulling pressure to keep the doors taut. Hopefully that will kind of seal that door seal that goes around the perimeter of the door. So that's all going well. However, we ran into a snag again. So we went to go put the roof rail Weatherstripping in, and this is all correct. However, they didn't send the I guess they don't. You have to order it extra. The tabs, the door strip had tabs, but if you look into the roof rail right here, you've got to have a way to attach. You got to have a way to attach the weather strip to the car. And if you look here, you'll see all the little slots. See all the little slots that are in here. Well, those little white clips that are similar to what the door stripping was, and I'll show everybody what it looks like. He didn't send them. So this is what they look like. And that's from Detroit Speed. And from what I understand, and in the book shows the same, the manual, the factory manual shows it having clips. So the clips, I'm assuming after you buy the kit, they go into the little slot. I believe there's a slot right here. Yeah, this little slot right here. And they'll go in, I'm assuming, and then you clip them on. That's the only thing I can figure out, because there's no other way to attach the roof rail weather stripping to anything. So, another snag. So, we're stopped on that until we figure out where we're at. The reason why we don't have the dash in, I'm going to tell everybody why we hit another snag on that. So, on this dash assembly, we went to a factory style tachometer. That was an option for this car. Well, studying this thing, you've got on a Mopar, you've got your 3 points of interest. This is your bulkhead connector. One is for a headlight harness, one is the windshield wiper harness, and the other is the engine harness. The engine harness would be alternator, oil pressure, and water temperature, and amps or volts. Problem is I've already got the 3 harnesses that plug into this, but now I have an extra engine harness that's plugged into the tachometer. M&H told our customer that this is what we would need to move over to a tack for the factory style wiring harness, but here's the problem. Like I said, I've already got the 3 on the M&H harness. I've already got these 3. This is a windshield wiper motor. So that would mean I would have to strip these 2 apart to separate and basically extract the current engine harness that's in this harness. I don't want to do that because that's going to look like crap. So I have to make a call to M&H and figure out what's going on so we can figure this wiring harness out, because you want to figure it out while the dash is out of the car. You don't want to be peeling that thing back out. So M&H, I've got a call to them, figure that out. Now, here's one of the last things I want to get to that just pissed me off. You know I had a problem with the dipstick. So I go to remove the lid off the valve cover to put the oil in. It goes right here. It's because we pulled the pans, we put fresh Lucas high zinc and Lucas oil additive because we got to flat tap it. It can, and everything's broken in. But I got to remove the valve cover cap for the oil. Is it on here, honey? I think it's over here. Yeah. So I go to take this off, and I hear it clink, 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 clink. I'm like, you got to freaking be kidding me. Really? This little piece of, I'm going to keep the metaphors down to the bottom because one of my elementary teachers may be watching this, so I'm not going to say any bad words, but see the little 4 spot welds on that? 4 spot welds. That's it. So this thing basically fell off from the cap. Talk about cheap junk. So now I had to pull the valve cover back off and get this out. And now I got to order another oil filler cap. This shouldn't happen. Come on. That really 4 little bitty spot welds? This is junk. So I got to find a good oil cap that's factory. So we're working through that. once we get worked through that, then we'll get the dash in, and we've done our inventory for the glass for Joe to do the door glass and quarter windows. So we're getting there. We got the condenser in, the AC condenser. I think the customer has decided we're going to go to a sanding compressor on this to update the compressor. That's just a matter of changing out. They have a kit with brackets to adapt it over. And then we've got to get a factory style fan for the clutch. We've got the shroud. So we kind of basically, we're not going backwards. We are going backwards a little bit. But this is just one of the things on these old cars. It takes forever. We're down to the tedious stuff here. So Kevin found the factory, a company that makes the pods, the vacuum pods for the heater control valve. I believe that company was called AMS. So if anybody wants to know, I'll put it in the comments. If anybody wants to know where to get the pods for the factory style heater control valve. The hoses for the Kelsey Hayes disc brakes, they are not, you don't go to Rock Auto or they don't have the Kelsey Hayes rubber hoses that go to your disc brakes on the front. I had to dig and research and finally found that the Mustangs also use a Kelsey Hayes disc brake, and they use the same hose. So I have those hoses coming from Performance Online. So that is coming as well. So that's where we're at. Sorry, I don't have a whole lot to share. We just went, we don't have parts, the right parts. We got lots of parts, lots and lots and lots of parts, but can't put certain ones on until you get the right ones or the other parts. So hope everybody has a good Sunday. Thanks, everybody.